Welcome back to my Dominican Republic travel blog. I wanted to end this series on the Dominican Republic by helping you create the perfect 2-week road trip itinerary to exploring the island. I'm going to share with you exactly my route, so if you guys want to follow that, you can. But before we do that, I also want to cater to people that have less than 2 weeks. So very briefly, I am going to share what you can do in 3, 5, or 7 days. If you don't have 2 weeks, I get you. You can also have a Dominican Republic experience with a little quick weekend getaway. If you only have 3 days, I recommend just staying in Punta Cana. There is no need to rent a car or explore around. In Punta Cana, you have everything you need. It's an all-inclusive resort, so you have all you can eat, drink, party. Also, if you get bored of that, you can take a day trip with an excursion and go to Isla Saona. If you have a little bit more than that, if you have 5 days, let's say, I recommend maybe doing Punta Cana, Bayahibe, and Isla Saona. Or you can also do Punta Cana, La Romana, and Isla Saona. Or you can do Santo Domingo instead of Punta Cana, scratch Punta Cana. We'll do Santo Domingo, then we'll go to La Romana, and then we are going to go to Bayahibe area to visit Isla Saona. 7 days, which is a full week, then I recommend spending your time in Santo Domingo, which is the capital, and Samaná. Samaná has 3 main towns which you can hit up, which is Las Terrenas, El Valle, and Las Caleras. Santo Domingo, which is colonial zone, 1400s era, and then a slice of secluded paradise in Samaná. If you want to venture out to the south, you can also do Barahona, Bahía de las Águilas, and Santo Domingo, and that can be done in 6 days. Now on it to our 2-week road trip through the Dominican Republic. We are going to be landing in Santo Domingo, the capital, then we're renting a car and exploring the island in 2 weeks. I love traveling to the Dominican Republic. It's such a diverse country. You have mountains if you go all the way to Punta Rusia, Monte Cristi. Then you have virgin beaches if you go all the way to Samaná. You have like a colonial city if you explore Santo Domingo. I've been there 3 times this year, guilty. If you want this guide more accessible on the go, you can always also go to my website. There I have this 2-week road trip guide, but also all the other towns, so you can take a look at my website as well. I recommend making your car rental reservations ahead of time. We rented our car from Hertz and had a great experience. For the most part, we found driving in the Dominican Republic easy and comfortable as the highways are well kept. However, if you can, I would avoid driving in the capital, Santo Domingo, as it does get very hectic and there seems to be no rules with drivers just throwing themselves all over the road. And also, if you're going to Samaná, I recommend going during daytime because the roads are not as well paved as the rest of the country and there are no signs and no lights. So it's jungle. You're driving into the jungle, so like 6 o'clock is already too late. If you're heading from Santo Domingo specifically to Samaná, the latest I would do is 3 o'clock, and that's borderline. So those are my only 2 suggestions: driving early to Samaná and not driving in Santo Domingo. Uber is very affordable, so you'll be okay in Santo Domingo without having to drive. I am going to be basing this 2-week road trip itinerary based on our road trip. That comes into account the time we landed, the time we left, airports that we chose. So you guys have to adjust everything depending on your travel time and dates. And also, you'll get to learn from the mistakes we made, because we did make a few. For day 1, we landed in Santo Domingo at around 12:30 p.m. We landed in the capital. Then from there, we went and we picked up our car, which is walking distance from the airport to the car rental. That's in Santo Domingo. Note that if you fly to Punta Cana and you're renting a car there, you do need to get a shuttle to take you to the car rental place. But for Santo Domingo, it's right outside. You walk outside and you just cross the street and it's right there. One thing to note is allow time, because everything in the Dominican Republic is island time. Everything. We were the only ones in the car rental, and it took us and we already made the reservations ahead of time, like here home in the US, but it still took us a good hour and a half, and we were the only ones there, no line. Have that in mind. Don't think like, oh, I'm gonna land and then I'm gonna do all these things, especially driving. Just for day one, keep it simple. After we got our car, we were a bit hungry, so we went for lunch at Gran Parador Bellamar, which is only a 16-minute drive from the airport, and that's now my spot to go and eat. Every time I land and leave the country, that's where I go, because it's fast, the food's already made, and it's authentic Dominican, and it's so good. It's so good. So I recommend before hitting the road, because we're not staying in Santo Domingo on day one, we are moving to Bayahibe, and that's because we're going to go to Bayahibe, Isla Saona, and then we're going back down to Santo Domingo to then go back up to Samaná, because the way the island is created, you cannot connect Bayahibe to Samaná. We have to go all the way down back to Santo Domingo. So we're gonna leave Santo Domingo after we explore Bayahibe and Isla Saona. So day one is grab lunch and on the road to Bayahibe. For Bayahibe, we arrived at around 5:30 p.m. The drive from Santo Domingo to Bayahibe is about an hour and 28 minutes. So we stayed at Tracadero Beach Resort, which I will link. And we stayed there 3 nights because that's the perfect place to go and explore Isla Saona. They pick you up right there from the little boardwalk, and it's only a 20-minute boat ride. But today we're coming into Tracadero, checking the resort because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful resort. So enjoy the sunset, have dinner. They have there 2 restaurants. They have a fancy restaurant and then a little pizza one that's a little more casual and formal, and a bar. And what's cool about this resort is that it has 5 infinity pools overlooking the ocean. So it's beautiful. Enjoy the rest of your night there because you are probably jet lagged. It's been a long traveling day. So we just stayed at Tracadero and we enjoyed having a chill the rest of the day. For day 2, we did nothing. We stayed in Tracadero because we woke up late, and then we stayed in Tracadero because it was such a beautiful resort that when we travel and the places we're staying at are so beautiful, we wanted to enjoy the place. We didn't just want to go and leave. So we woke up, we had breakfast, we swam in the infinity pools. They also have a spa. You can also go into town, Bayahibe. Keep in mind though that that's a resort town, so there's not a lot to do in town, but if you need something essential, you can go into town, and they have like bodegas, which are colmados over there, and little stuff like that. There's also a beach, Bayahibe Beach, but we didn't need to go to Bayahibe Beach because the next day, tomorrow, we are going to be going to Isla Saona, and also the beach is right there, the ocean is right there. There's no like sand front beach at Tracadero, but there are stairs where you can jump off to the ocean. So we just did that, and it was so much fun. For day 3, we took a day trip to Isla Saona. Isla Saona is such a beautiful island. It's postcard ready. It's a small island, so you can't really stay overnight. That's why I suggest you guys stay at Tracadero, because Tracadero is 20 minutes away. Day 4, we're heading back to Santo Domingo, and we're gonna explore Santo Domingo. You can easily spend a day here, 2 days, 3 days. It's up to you. I think 3 days is the max. After that, there's not much to do. But 1, 2, I say is like the sweet point. So day 4, we're going to be in Santo Domingo. I am going to link a hotel crawl of La Zona Colonial that I did. I stayed at 3 different hotels. They're all budget friendly. It's basically up to you and your style of traveling, which one you choose. So check that out if you're staying in Santo Domingo. But in Santo Domingo, we did a walking tour of La Zona Colonial. That was a half-day trip. The drive from Bayahibe to Santo Domingo was 2 hours and 10 minutes, around there. We had breakfast in Tracadero, then we drove to Santo Domingo, and then we toured La Zona Colonial for the rest of the day. I have a foodie guide on La Zona Colonial and also a self-guided walking tour that you guys can follow. Something to note is that if you are driving, let's say you rented your car, right, and you got there driving, I recommend staying at Luca Hotel from the 3 that I suggest, just because that's the only one that has parking. They have a parking garage, which we use, and we parked our car there. The other 2 hotels don't, so you have to park in the street, and that's a busy street. So like, I remember one time we stayed at Casa Sanchez and we had to park like 2 blocks away, and we didn't want to leave our car. It was safe, it ended up being fine, but you know, I think parking is a big plus if you have a car, so stay at Luca Hotel if you have a car. If you don't have a car, then watch the video and choose whichever one you like the most. For day 5, we're visiting Los Tres Ojos National Park. Los Tres Ojos National Park is a must when visiting Santo Domingo. Los Tres Ojos is only a 20-minute Uber ride from La Zona Colonial. Also, what's really cool is that many Hollywood films were actually shot there. They shot Tarzan there, Indiana Jones, Anaconda, and Jurassic Park, which I thought was really cool. I also have a video on a whole day that I spent there, so you guys can check that out. I think I can only link 5 videos, so definitely check out the highlights at the end of this video because I'm not going to be able to link all of this. But basically, for every town that I am mentioning, I have a separate video that goes more in depth of what to do, where to eat, and hang out in that town. After visiting Los Tres Ojos, I recommend heading back to La Zona Colonial. I have 3 separate videos on La Zona Colonial, so there's so much to do there. There's so many up-and-coming restaurants that you are going to enjoy. So just stay 2 days in Santo Domingo, and that's the perfect time. Day 6, we're going to be on the road to Samaná. There are 3 main parts of Samaná, which is Las Terrenas, El Valle, and Las Galeras. For the purpose of our road trip, we decided to go to El Valle because El Valle is the most that looks like a jungle, and I'm just obsessed with El Valle. It's like a hidden gem, a raw hidden gem. Like there's no one there. It's super secluded. The beaches are beautiful. So we are skipping Las Terrenas, but if you guys want to add Las Terrenas, you can. Just modify your trip. Las Terrenas is more like, it gives you more like European French vibes. So if you want to check that out, check that out. But we went to El Valle. We stayed at Unique Exotic Hotel in El Valle. The drive from Santo Domingo to Samaná is 3 hours, and we're gonna be spending a couple of days at Unique Exotic Hotel. For day 7, you're gonna stay in El Valle. There's so much stuff to do, and also it's a great place to do nothing. It's so beautiful. The beach is right there. You have like really local restaurants. Everything there is very local. It's not populated with big hotel chains or big restaurants. Everything is local. So just enjoy a day at a beach. You can also take a boat from Playa El Valle to Playa El Ermitaño, and it's such a beautiful beach. It's amazing. You can also go ziplining or visit El Limón, which is a very popular waterfall there. For day 8, we're heading to Las Galeras, which is about a 30-minute drive from El Valle. It's still Samaná, but it's a little farther away. And there's an Airbnb that I love. It's called Casa El Paraíso. It's perched upon hills, and you can overlook the Samaná Bay area. This is room number 5. And it's nicknamed Africa because of the views. Check this out. You sleep without a wall. No boundaries. If you're traveling between mid-December and mid-March is whale season in the Dominican Republic, so you can, in Las Galeras, you can actually go whale watching, which is something on my bucket list. I've been there 3 times, but never during whale season. Las Galeras, there are also 2 beaches you can visit, which is La Playita and Playa Fronton. Day 9, we headed from Samaná to Cabarete, which is about a 3-hour drive. Cabarete is known for kite surfing. The winds are just perfect there. So if you want to try a hand on learning how to surf or kite surf, Cabarete is a perfect place to do that. We'll be staying at the Tura Cabana Boutique Hotel and Spa, located in Sosua, about a 10-minute drive from Cabarete. We're gonna use day 10 and 11 to explore Cabarete. If you have more time, we recommend staying in Cabarete 3 to 4 days. There's a lot of excursions you can do, especially if you're into adventure. Cabarete is for adventure, not so much for swimming. Like, we weren't that impressed by the beaches alone. We were impressed by a hidden restaurant we found, which I have a video on that, and also just sports. You can go canoeing, rappelling, you can go kite surfing. But for the beaches, I love Samaná better. But if you're into adventure, then spend more time in Cabarete. So adjust your schedule like this. If you're looking for adventure, add an extra day in Cabarete. If you're looking for secluded, beautiful, paradise-looking beaches, add a day in Samaná. On day 12, we're going to be leaving Cabarete and driving to Punta Rusia. Punta Rusia is about a 2-hour and 42-minute drive. Punta Rusia is home to shallow, clear waters, so if you're traveling with kids, it's, I believe, the perfect beach for them. We went in deep in, and the water was up to our knees max. We also went on a day trip, which we're going to do on day 13, but it's the best place for snorkeling. Now, Punta Rusia is a very rural area, kind of like Samaná, but a little bit different because Samaná has a little more restaurants. Punta Rusia, it's not that easy to find a restaurant. It's more local. Punta Rusia is close to Montecristi, which is close to the border of Haiti. Not a lot of tourists make it that far. Before checking into your hotel, if you're hungry, we found a local restaurant there that has amazing Dominican local food. So it's just a hole in the wall, basically. Bring cash because you're gonna have to pay cash. I recommend eating at this restaurant in Punta Rusia if you want to save a little bit of cash and don't want to spend like the big bucks at Punta Rusia Lodge. You can always come here. Foodie dish to try when visiting Punta Rusia is chivo linero, which is goat that's either oven baked or stewed. And if you've been following my adventures through the island, you know that a staple is fried fish with tostones. I never leave the island without eating that. So that's a favorite, and the Dominican Republic does it to perfection. Cayo Arena is a tiny island in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean with the best waters for snorkeling in the Dominican Republic. I am not exaggerating here. We literally went inside after we arrived in Cayo Arena, and we just put our heads down, open our eyes, and we saw so many tropical fish. They are everywhere. It's an epic little island in the Dominican Republic. Day 14 for us was a little disappointing because it ended up being a complete travel date. We already knew that. We booked a round trip coming in and leaving from Santo Domingo. Santo Domingo and Punta Rusia are 4 hours and 20 minutes away, so we had to just take the entire day to travel. We wanted to be on time. We didn't know about the lines, especially with COVID. But I suggest, if you can, flying into Santo Domingo. This is something we should have done. Fly into Santo Domingo and leave from Puerto Plata Airport. It's only 2 hours away from Punta Rusia. That saves you time, and you can even spend more time in Punta Rusia. Or if you have more time and you want to make like the trip a little bit longer, head over to Montecristi, which is a 2-hour drive from Punta Rusia. And it's great. There's so much to do there. There are mountains. It's on the border to Haiti. And if you have 3 weeks, go south after Montecristi. Go visit Bahía de las Águilas, Barahona, Asua. Around that area also is the only Caribbean winery in the world. The wine is not like French wine, it's Caribbean wine, so it's a little sweeter. But that was something we didn't have enough time to do. So if you have more than 3 weeks, you can definitely do that. And if you have a month, then just cross the border and head over to Haiti, because why not? Here's another tip. If you love fried chicken, I recommend heading to Pollo Victorina, which is the equivalent to fast food in the US. It's like McDonald's, but the local Dominican fried chicken. It's some of the best fried chicken. I used to eat that all the time when I lived in DR, and it's delicious. The chicken is so crispy. It's really good. It's a local fast food in Dominican Republic. And then for dessert, head over to Helados Bon, which gives me childhood nostalgia because I grew up eating Helados Bon in Santo Domingo, and it's authentic Dominican ice cream. I hope this video inspired you to visit the Dominican Republic. If you're ready to go, I recommend viewing my things to know before arriving to the Dominican Republic video. That's going to give you a little prep on what to expect when visiting the island. Next week, we're going to be leaving the Dominican Republic and we're heading back to the US, and we're starting season 2 of Voyeur to Now, which is going to be based in the USA. So the first city we're going to cover is Las Vegas, Nevada. So stay tuned. Till next time.